No, yeah.
What?
You lying?
Come.
I was like, let me know. Yeah.
My bad.
All right. Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, back in 1969. Precinct Officer Kazak Damar, I.S.U.P.K, Jacksonville, Florida. We in Duval, 103rd Library. Monday night class, Truth 101. I'm saying we'll get into a little topic later. First, we'll start off with the questions. A sister wanted to know what was tithes according to the Bible, and like what's the proper thing you're supposed to do. She wanted a couple of scriptures broke down. So short answer is tithes is 10% of any increase you get from the Lord. You would pay that. So let's say if I am a homeless man, I have nothing. 10% of nothing is what? What? Nothing. How much is my tithes? Nothing. Somebody give me a lottery ticket. I win $500. Increase from the Lord. What's my tithes? Yep, $50, 10%. So let's say we're not working for talking in terms of money, right? In terms of money. Israelite people were a people who lived by the land. When you start talking about the Passover, the Feast of First Fruits, all of these different things, you're talking about farming. A lot of things based on the moon and all of that is because we lived off the land. We wasn't in servitude like right now. I go to my slavery, you know what I'm saying? I know what my wage is for the work that I'm doing. But let's say if I had, I don't know, such and such 40 acres and a mule, right? I got 40 acres of land and I'm growing crops. 10% would be 10% of my increase in my crops or my cattle. Let's say my lamb, they had children. Right? So now instead of one lamb, I got 7, 8 lambs. Well, 10% of whatever that is goes towards the Most High. It's either to be given to the Levites. That's what it was for. When the Lord separated all of the 12 tribes, he gave them their own land and their own responsibility. So then you had Judah over here, you had Benjamin over here, but the Levites was the priest, right? Their job was to make sure that everybody was keeping the laws of God. They did the work as far as the ministry in the temple, as far as everything else. So they wasn't going to be out there farming. They wasn't going to be working for no wages. It wasn't going to be none of that. Their job was to do the work of the Lord and that only. So he didn't give them no land. Their land was 10% of the land of everybody else's. He didn't give them no fields or no, you know what I'm saying? So their food came from what people brought as sacrifices. Remember, if I brought a bullock or a lamb, the Lord ain't eating that. It was the priest, the men of the Lord, who would take that 10% for themselves to do what needed to be done as far as the work of the Lord and sustain their families and so on and so forth. So that's what tithes was about. It was basically for the priesthood or the people. Now we're no longer under the Levitical priest. The priests of the Lord are those who sign up to be priests. After the order of Melchizedek, you come back, you serve the Lord now. So it's not just the Levites that get the tithes, it's the priest. And basically, we would consider that to be the heads of the school. Is who I would call if I have any type of problem. I can't afford to pay my rent. I'm about to get kicked out of my house. I'm definitely calling Commanding General YAHANNA, and I'm going to tell him what's going on. I'm going to call my brothers first because that money is supposed to be for people who specifically does the work of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to call them first. That's once I give it to whatever organization I deem to be the men of the Lord, which I would consider to be the I.S.U.P.K, then it's no longer up to me what happens to it after that. You understand? Now, if General YAHANNA want to pay Yamayan bills because Yamayan about to get kicked out with it, I can't say, hey, wait a minute, I gave you that money and you paying Yamayan rent with it. It's not my call after that. I have to trust that the priest that I'm giving it to is a man of God and does what needs to be done for the people. All right, so that's the short of it. Let's get to Leviticus 27 real quick. Let's go there. Leviticus 27. You got it?
Oh, God.
Let me see where we want to start at. Verse 30. Start at verse 30.
Oh, God. Leviticus chapter 27, verse 30.
Mm-hmm.
And all the tithe of the land, whether the seed of the land or the fruit of the tree, is the Most High's.
Mm-hmm.
It is holy unto the Most High. And if a man will at all redeem all of his tithes, he shall add thereto the fifth part thereof.
Okay.
And concerning the tithe of the herd,
Mm-hmm.
or of the flock, even of whatsoever passeth under the rod, the tenth shall be holy unto the Most High.
Keep going.
He shall not search whether it be good or bad, neither shall he change it. And if he change it at all, then both it and the change thereof shall be holy. It shall not be redeemed.
All right, so this is talking about tithes of the land and tithes of the flock. So like now, you got to understand the Bible was written for people in rulership, meaning they have, all right, you know how now you want to go buy some land, you got to buy it from the person that owns it. The Bible was written for people who rule over the land, so you would have to come to us. In a sense, now we got to go get a mortgage. We are the borrower and not the lender. The Bible was written for the lender and not the borrower. It's how you rule over people. On the Sabbath, you don't make your servants work. You don't make your mule work. You don't make nobody work on the Sabbath. It wasn't talking about us now being in slavery and having to go and ask our oppressor, can we get Saturdays off because it's the Sabbath? You see the difference, right? So now if you're a people and you got a land and you're growing whatever, it says in verse 30, and all the type of the land, whether it be seed of the land or it be fruit of the tree, or it is the Lord's. So that means where they grow on the tree, you pull down 100 apples, 10 of them are going to the as tithes, right? If it's growing out the ground, you got, I don't know what they grow. Potatoes, right? Get 1,000 of them, 100 of them is for the priesthood. And that's what it's saying about that as far as what you're growing. Now, if it's the herd or the flock, whatsoever passeth under the rod, the 10th shall be holy unto the Lord. So everything that comes out, just like I was saying about the lamb, you get 10 of them, one of them belongs to the Most High, right? When it's saying holy, that just means separate. So when it says it should be holy, that means it just should be separated from everything else. The next verse says, don't exchange it. In other words, you might want to say, well, I can get more money for this lamb because it's a good lamb, and then I can give a 10th part of that money to the priest. It's saying don't do that. If you do, and you get more, like say if it's only worth $100 and you get $300, well, the whole $300 is the tithe that you would pay. All right, so that's the first one. You understand that, right? Okay. Deuteronomy 14 and 34. Let's go there. Huh? Oh, maybe I got it wrong. Oh, 24.
24.
Yeah, Deuteronomy 14 and 24. Go ahead and go to 22. Mm-hmm.
Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year.
So when they say the increase of thy seed, it's talking about exactly what I was saying before. You know what I'm saying? We were a people where a lot of things that came about farming. So when you're talking about the new moon, you're talking about the sun, you're talking about the times, all of these different things, the seasons, you know what I'm saying? That's why we keep all of these different high holy days and feast days, and they all based around it. Passover is based around, you know what I'm saying? You got the new moon, and you have a cycle that ends. The Passover is actually the new year for the Israelites. Then you got 50 weeks after that. You got the first fruits. You got all of this other stuff that's based on the seasons for, you know what I'm saying? You would stockpile stuff for the winter months and so on and so forth. This is Israelite culture. So now it's talking about right here, verse, what is it, 24? It says, Oh, we have verse 22, right? Verse 22, read it again.
Oh God. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed.
So I don't care what you're growing. Whatever it is, you should truly tithe all the increase of thy seed. So whatever you're growing in that field, I don't care if it's potatoes, tomatoes, what is it, greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, you want 10% of all that, all right? Go ahead.
Go. That the field bringeth forth year by year.
This is how you get the Lord to basically bless what you're doing. So now when you try to grow stuff next year, you're going to get an increase because you've given to the Lord what he asked for you to give. It was all based on, that's why they, Baal, right? You know about Baal in the Bible, they was actually worshiping him, but he really was just a great farmer. So now it's based around like certain people or things that had something to do with it was turned into deities, meaning like it had to come from God, how we eat, that he's blessed me this cattle to increase so much, that he's blessed this ground to increase so much. So how you show the Lord, you pay him back by giving him his percentage, which was a 10. All right, go to verse 23.
Come. And thou shalt eat before the Most High thy power, in the place which he shall choose to place his name there.
Right.
The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and thine firstlings of thy herds.
So it's talking about everything that was of importance. Corn, wine, of course. The herd. So it's talking about everything you're growing and your cattle and your farming. I keep saying the same thing over and over again because that's what the Lord is saying. Go ahead.
Go. And thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Most High thy power always.
All it's doing is talking about your obedience, right? The Lord don't really need your 10%. He don't really need your cattle. He ain't gonna eat none of that anyway. It's teaching you how to understand where everything you got comes from. That's what tithing is about. Did you do it on your own? It's like asking, did Moses part the Red Sea or did God part the Red Sea? Moses did it, but it was the Most High who did it. Who grew that? Who helped you get your 80,000 dish that you're gonna make this year? It was the Most High. It's like not forgetting where you come from. It's like not forgetting that the potter had more power over the clay. Right? Keep going.
God. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Most High thy power shall choose to set his name there, when the Most High thy power have blessed thee. Verse 25. Then shalt thou turn it into money.
Remember what it was saying in Leviticus. Don't sell the lamb, don't sell the corn, don't sell it, but you give it to the Levitical priest. Now, if that place is too far for you to go, then you can cash app it to the Most High, all right? You can sell it to the Most High, all right? He said, if that's the place, you ain't like, I got all this increase of corn, I got a truckload, but I don't have no truck. Now you can sell it, and what you gain from it, you give 10% of that to the Lord, is what it's saying. Go ahead.
God. And bind up the money in thy hand, and shall go unto the place which the Most High thy power shall choose. And thou shalt bestow the money for whatsoever the soul lusteth after, for oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever thy soul desireth. And thou shalt eat therefore, and thou shalt eat there before the Most High thy power, and thou shalt rejoice, thou and thine household.
What verse you on?
I just finished 26.
All right, keep going.
Oh God. Verse 27. And the Levite.
And the who?
And the Levite.
Why is it saying and the Levite? Keep reading.
Oh God. That is within thy gates.
And the Levite that is within thy gates. Go ahead.
Oh God. Thou shalt not forsake him.
Don't forsake him. Now you done turned it into money, right? You done got the money. He's like do whatever you want to do with your money. Go buy you some strong drink. What do he say? Food. Whatever you want to buy, you can go get you a sheep, a nice oxen, whatever you want to get. That you've worked hard for your money, but don't forsake the Levite that's within your gates. What does that mean? Anybody want to take a stab at that? Yeah, go ahead.
Like don't negate or not give the Levites their due portion.
What's the importance of the Levite though?
They're the priests.
They're the priest. That's it. It's a priest within your gate. And he is the mediator between you and the Most High. He's going to tell you what the Lord is saying. His job as a prophet is to give you the words of the Lord as a messenger. His job is also to take whatever you are sacrificing, whether it be a sin offering or a wave offering or a drink offering or whatever, and basically he takes it on your behalf before the Most High. All right, it wasn't no everybody got their own personal relationship with Jesus back then. There was always a mediator, and that mediator was the priest of the Most High. So God ain't come tell the people nothing. The priest would tell the people what God said, and the people didn't take nothing before the Most High. They would give it to the priest. He would take it into a place they call the holies of holies inside the temple and do the work and on your behalf to try to get the Lord to forgive you and bless you. You get it? All right. Go ahead. About not forsaking that priest. Read that part again.
And the Levite that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him.
Okay.
For he have no part nor inheritance with thee.
You see that? He have no part in inheritance with you. In other words, when you die, your firstborn son gets your inheritance, right? You pass it down to him. He makes sure your family is taken care of and everything. He died, his sons get it, so on and so forth. But the Lord never gave the Levites no cattle, no land, nothing, right? Their job was to live within the gates of the community, and the people gave them the 10% to them, and that was how they ate. That's how they survived. So there was nothing for them to pass to their children. You had to do the same thing in the next generation. You understand? So if anybody forsake the priest, then now my kids as a Levite or as a priest ain't eating because I don't have land to give them. I don't have cattle to give them. It is the Lord's job to make sure, or the people's job to make sure that they give their 10% in order for the priest to live. All right? You got it? All right, well, we had one more. That was the end of that? You can keep reading if it's more.
28.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 28. At the end of 3 years, thou shalt bring forth all of the tithe of thine increase the same year, and shalt lay it up within thy gates. And the Levite, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within thy gates, shall come and shall eat and be satisfied.
Now, this is talking about the people who have more than enough, right? You got more than enough. You gave your 10%. You got everything you wanted to do with your money. Now you have a bigger burden to make sure that the widow and somebody who might be ain't got nowhere to stay, they from out of town, whatever the case may be, and the child, what is it? The widow, and what did it say about the child? It say something about the child, the fatherless. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who ain't got nobody to provide for them. Now you become their provider because we took care of each other. There's a law in the scriptures that if I had a land, right, let's say I'm growing grapes, right, I take all of the middle and I leave the outside for people who ain't have nothing can just come up and they can eat. That's a law that the Lord left for us. That's how much we cared about each other in those point of time. So he was just breaking that out. All right. So let's go to Matthew 23. Now that I've explained all that, you can understand why the church would say that all the law is done away with. Every single law, you don't got to do none of that no more because Jesus paid it all except tithes. Tithes in the Old Testament, right? If the law done away with, why they don't never say, well, all the whole law is done away with and you ain't got to pay tithes no more? They say everything else, we ain't got to do that. We can eat what we want, sleep with who we want, whatever. Jesus paid for it, but he ain't paid them tithes. Oh, you still got to pay them tithes. Now, this is going into what your other question was. It's Matthew 23 and 23, right? Go ahead and read that. What this is just a little backdrop on this story, right? Christ had the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They would be like your Christian pastors now. In other words, from I think 1960s all the way until 2000. I think they say somewhere along the lines of about 3 billion. My numbers might be off, but it's somewhere close. $1 billion was brought into the black church that people was paying tithes and offerings and all that. $3 billion. None of it made it back to the people that was paying. they bought suits, they bought helicopters, they bought mansions, they did lavish trips, they went to Vegas, Sin City, I don't know. Anyway, they did all of that with the people money, didn't take care of the people, right? So now, in Christ's time, you had these religious sects. You had the Sadducees, Pharisees, the Essenes, you had the Hebrews, you had some other ones too. I can't think of all of them, but the main ones that Christ was coming in contact with was the Pharisees. What the Pharisees was after the fall of the Israelites, if you look in the Apocrypha, the Levitical priesthood was no longer there, right? So up under Rome, they came in and said, we ain't like the Greeks. The Greeks wanted everybody to be Greek. You gotta be Greek. You cannot be an Israelite no more. Can't say you're an Israelite. You can't keep no Sabbath days. You can't do none of that. Well, the Romans was like, everybody, you can believe what you want, like America now. You can believe whatever you want. You ain't gotta be what we is, right? You can have whatever God you want. We don't care. But we don't feel like dealing with y'all, so we're gonna put some people over y'all that's gonna babysit y'all, watch y'all. And these were the Pharisees. We would the equivalent would be the black church leaders. You got, you know what I'm saying, Jesse Jackson, you got what's his name? Al Sharpton. If there's ever anybody that's, you know, rioting or getting crazy, they send them down there and say, hey, y'all calm down. God is gonna take care of it, so on and so forth. That was these people. But what their job was and what they used to govern the people that was under Rome at that time was the law, statutes, and commandments given by Moses. So if you was caught breaking the law, whatever the judgment was under the law, that's what they would use to deal with it. For instance, the woman they brought on adultery, they was trying to cross Christ up all the time by getting him to say something that was against the laws that was in the Old Testament so that they could accuse him of blasphemy, right? And get him killed. The reason why is because Christ had followers that was following what he was teaching, which was different from what they was teaching inside the temple. So you had the Pharisees teaching one thing, the Sadducees teaching one thing, the Essenes over there in the caves doing their thing, right? The Ebionites, so on and so forth. You had all these different sects during the time of Christ. The Pharisees was really the only ones that had power. They was given that power by the Roman government, who said, y'all take it, watch these niggas. We ain't got time for it. All right. So you got to go before the Pharisees. They was just like the priesthood in the Old Testament, like Moses would be. They would bring you before the priest. The priest would say what the judgment is. Chop his hand off. I don't know, cut his eye off, chop his head off, set him on fire, whatever. Whatever the Lord told you to do in the scriptures, that's what they did, right? So now Christ was always battling these Pharisees because they could never jam him up. The reason why is because the same way it was said in Malachi, the Levitical priests or the Levites, who was priests, they was priests because their daddy was priest, just based on their bloodline. Okay, the Pharisees was priests based on the Romans putting them in, and then now your sons is, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, they're gonna rule over the people, but they was ruling unjustly. You know what I'm saying? They would kill you for being an adulterer, but they would be sleeping with other people's wives. They would chop your head off or throw you in prison for stealing or whatever the law said, and they would steal. Things of that nature. So Christ came as a righteous judge. That's what the whole point of this thing is, and people don't understand that. When we talk about ruling over other nations, it's because the scriptures say when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. I wouldn't mind somebody who had rule over me if they telling me and doing the right thing by me. What we understand as slavery and servitude is only what our oppressor did to us, and that's why we think it's such a horrible thing. When your mama or your daddy told you can't go to that party, and you mad as hell because you can't go to the party, and then somebody gets shot at the party and they saved your life, then you'll understand that somebody who has rule over you telling you right and doing right by you is a good thing, right? I remember, well, I don't know if I want to tell you. Well, anyway, this dude I know up here named Glock. Yeah, his name was Glock. Anyway, he told me one time, he was like, yo, you had it good, man. Your people care about you. They'll let you be out here with us. I'm out here in these streets. My mama spared the rod. You know what I'm saying? Like 3-4 years later, Glock got murdered for somebody he robbed, caught up to him, things of that nature. My point is, My mama ain't let me do all that stuff that they mama let them do. And our God don't let us do all that stuff that other people's God let them do, right? Long story to get back to the sister scripture, like what this got to do with anything. I'm explaining the Pharisees and what Christ is talking about. All right, give me boom, 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 boom. Let me look it up real quick before we get it. Give me Matthew 23 and 1. Let's start at 1. Now this whole chapter is written in red, so that means this is Yahawashi speaking, right? This is how he starts this chapter. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 23, verse 1. Then spake Yahawashi to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do.
That observe and do.
That observe and do. But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not.
So now this is Yahawashi coming to his disciples, and he's saying, the scribes and the Pharisees, no different. Let's say if you got the police, remember, they can carry out judgment on you. Just like if you, right now, you know what I'm saying, you go and commit a crime, the white man can carry out judgment on you. He can give you 100 years for a dime rock, piece of crack rock, or whatever he wants to do. He can, you know what I'm saying, murder you in the street and say nobody's going to jail for that because he's in the authority as a judge. Well, the scribes and Pharisees was in the authority of the priesthood as judges. Christ is saying to them, they sitting in Moses' seat, like they have the authority to do what they want to do. And they're doing it based on the laws. So if you're breaking the law, now you're putting yourself under their authority, and they not righteous judges, right? All they say, do what they're telling you to do, because they only telling you what's in the law. Whatever they bid you therefore observe, that observe and do. But do not after their works, because they say and do not. What does that mean, Brony, that they say and do not? You don't know? Want to help him? Go ahead.
They tell you to do one thing that's supposed to be done, but they don't do it themselves. They don't follow the law of their
the same law they telling you to keep. It's like you in your car and you doing 70, the speed limit 65. The police pass by you doing 100, and then another police pull you over while that police was doing 100. Police can do 100. Ain't nobody pulling him over. They telling you to do 70 though, or 65. You understand? What he's saying they say and do not. They was telling people to keep certain laws, and they wasn't keeping them themselves. And this is what Christ is pointing out. This is the reason why they needed him gone. Like, hey, listen, we've been doing this before you got here. Don't come here messing up our stuff. Everything is good. We went to the Miami Internal Affairs down there. They did something crazy while we was at camp. We called the police some kind of way. One of us ended up going to jail. We didn't do nothing wrong. Somebody did something wrong to us, but because we us, the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, so on and so forth. So we all filed a complaint on internal affairs. We walked in before they hear whatever we want. They said, let me see everybody's ID, and they ran all our names to make sure ain't nobody had no warrants. Now, they not supposed to do none of this stuff. We coming to file a complaint. What the people that ain't said nothing, the babies, if they could have ran their name, they would have tried to find something like, we know one of y'all is not right. But here's the point. These people are in authority to do it however they want, and they're not righteous judges. Jeremiah chapter 5. Well, anyways, I'll go to that in a minute. But he talks about righteous judgment, and this is what Christ came to bring into the earth. Go ahead and read verse 4.
Verse 4, for they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne and lay them on men's shoulder,
Mhm.
but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers.
So they put heavy burdens on other people's shoulders, but they ain't about to carry none of them stuff that they telling. That's what he's talking about, all right? So now this whole thing is going about that. Christ called them hypocrites like 15, 16 times, just going ham on them like hypocrites. You're fake, you're a liar, you ain't doing what the Lord said to do. You sitting in that seat like you a priest and you ain't who you say you are, right? We do the same thing today. And people hate us for it. Well, our king got killed for doing the same exact thing. Pointing out the fact that these people are supposed to be men of the Lord, supposed to be carrying out the judgment of God, but yet it's still they themselves are not living a life that's righteous before the Most High themselves, all right? Go ahead to the sister's scripture, 23. Mm-hmm.
Verse 23. Matthew chapter 23, verse 23. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees.
When you see that word woe, that means destruction. So destruction unto you, scribes and Pharisees. Now the scribes was the ones writing the law, the Pharisees was the one carrying out the judgment, or supposedly the people that was in position to carry out the judgment. Go ahead.
Oh God. Hypocrites.
Hypocrites. You know what that means. Say one thing, do another one. Go ahead.
Oh God. For ye pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law.
Here we go now, right? Your deacon at your church. Well, I got to get on them. You know what I'm saying? Everybody said they the equivalent of the modern day church, right? You got a pastor at church, they telling you to pay tithes and do all of this other stuff, right? But have omitted the weightier matters of the law. In other words, they make it like it got to a point where people felt like they can pay their way into heaven just like right now. They ain't got to live right. As long as you bring them tithes and them offerings in, you are a good person. And this is why if you go to any mega church or any big church, all the people like football players and the actors and all of them, they sit right up there at the front close to the pastor. And the people that's been coming to the church way before that actor or rapper or football player ever came, they get way in the balcony somewhere because it's all about the money. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. That's what it's all about. So this is what Christ is calling to their attention. He's saying that, yeah, these people, they paying their money, right? And the Pharisees cool with them paying their money. They doing the same thing. They paying their 10%, but they have omitted the weightier matters of the Lord. I mean, the stuff that's more heavy to the Most High. They done forgot clean about that. Now he's about to go into it. Go ahead.
Come. Judgment.
When he said judgment, they was judging people all right, but not righteously. Judgment. Go ahead.
Come.
Mercy. People committed on these laws, they would go by the letter of the law. You know what I'm saying? An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. You wasn't getting out. You know how right now, you know what I'm saying, how our oppressor shows mercy to his own people when they go in them court systems. Sometimes they ain't got to worry about it. If you got enough money, you can pay it. Look, everybody know OJ did it. OJ ain't go to jail for it, right? That's what I'm saying. And that was only supposed to happen to white people. Until that time, that's why black people were so happy. They knew he did it and were still happy because we never get mercy. We never get a way out. We never get an opportunity to get off of something. Everything we do is 10, 30, 40 times the same crime committed by our oppressors. They don't get nothing for it. So they have made a judgment, mercy, go ahead.
And faith.
It wasn't nothing spiritual going on by how the Pharisees was carrying out and doing business. It was all based on the letter of the law. And Christ is the only one that brought in the spiritual part of it, that our God has going to show us mercy and having faith in the scriptures and our forefathers and all of these different things. Go ahead.
These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone.
So they saying you're supposed to understand faith and righteous judgment and mercy. These you should have done, and you're still supposed to be paying tithes too. So you don't do the little stuff and then not do the big stuff, but then you don't do the big stuff and then skip over the little stuff either. So that's what Christ is saying right here. Keep reading.
Come. Verse 24. Ye blind guides.
You blind guys. What they say, when the blind lead the blind, what happens? They both gonna fall into a ditch, right? You blind guy. You're supposed to be the ones watching. You're supposed to be making us get closer to the Most High, things of that nature. Well, if we following behind what you doing, then we ain't gonna go on nowhere. Go ahead.
Oh God. With strain at a net
Mm-hmm.
and swallow a camel.
So you acting like this hard thing, or whatever the case may be, or this little light thing, like paying your tithes is so great, but you forgetting about these things that the Lord also wanted you to carry out to make sure that the people was treating each other right and things of that nature. All right, making sure the poor is taken care of, the widows, all of the stuff that we read, all of that's supposed to have been taken care of, and none of it was getting taken care of under the Pharisees' watch. Read verse 25.
Oh God. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites.
There you go again. Go ahead.
Oh God.
Why he kept saying that over and over again? Why he just kept calling them hypocrites over and over again? You hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. Straight up. Go ahead.
Oh God. For ye may clean the outside of the cup
There it is.
and of the platter.
Got a Steve Harvey suit. You got the lining. You know what I'm saying? The gold chain. The hard bottoms with the snake skin and all of that. Sharp as a tack. But the inside, though, your heart and your mind, right? You're making clean the outside of the cup, right? And on the platter, but within, go ahead.
Oh God. But within they are full of extortion and excess.
They're full of extortion and excess. They eating good off the people, extorting the people, and not doing the work of the Lord. So this is talking about people who's taking tithes, they in Moses' seat, they doing the job supposedly that the men of the Lord are supposed to be doing, but they not doing it right. And Christ is just checking the hell out of them over and over and over again this whole time. This whole chapter, that's what he's doing. Everything's in red. You know, Christ said it himself, and that's what's going on. All right, so you understand this? Any other questions? All right, good. Found your question?
Yeah, I did. Pull it back up. Okay, so it was when we die. I mean, I kind of figured out the answer on my own.
Okay, ain't nothing wrong with making sure though.
But yeah, I mean, so it was like when we die, our spirits they reincarnate, right?
We only use that word because that's a word that people understand. A better word would be regenerate.
Okay.
That's the word that's in the Bible. Reincarnate is not in the Bible. We just use it because that's a way to explain that a word that people understand. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the new body, when Christ returned, we supposed to get a new body, but like the old body, I kind of figured it was just. That's why I was like, I kind of got the answer.
Okay, so what's the
like
question?
What happens to the old body? Like if
it depends on if you dead or alive when Christ returned. If you're alive, that means you have a body, right, and you still living. But once you die, that body goes into the ground and becomes dust again, right, and then your spirit goes back to the Most High. So when you get a glorified body, right, it's just your spirit encompassing some vessel of some sort. And if you read in the scriptures, I think Paul said it, we don't know how we're going to be, we just know we're going to be like him, right? So he couldn't really explain what the glorified body is, so I ain't going to do no more than what Paul did, right? He was probably a little bit more versed than me, probably a lot more. But anyways, if you alive at that time, then it says, this is Revelation, no, not Revelations. Give me Romans chapter 12, I believe it is. I ain't good with remembering stuff off the top of my head, but I'm getting there. I'm getting better, right? Hold on. I'm looking for in a moment, in the blinking of an eye, if you can find that out. In the twinkling of an eye, my bad. First Thessalonians chapter 15. Let's go there. First Thessalonians. It's good to flip these pages there now and then instead of these electronic eastwards. First Thessalonians. chapter 15.
First
So what?
Corinthians.
Yeah, my bad. 1 Corinthians. 1 Thessalonians is 4 and 13. 1 Corinthians 15, 52. Let's see. Go to 50.
Oh, God. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 50. Now this I say.
Hold on. Let me help this out a little bit more, right? Go to verse 39. I might end up skipping, but I'm gonna try to read through it as quick as possible. I'm not gonna break everything down. Just stop me if you don't understand and say what is he talking about? Go ahead.
1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 39.
Mm-hmm.
All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds.
Right. So now when people talking about the Lord putting your spirit in a bird or a duck or a frog, it's not it. You know what I'm saying? They are what they are, and we are what we are. And this is not the same flesh. There's different kind of flesh. You know what I'm saying? All flesh is not the same, is what's the point. Go to verse 40.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Verse 40. There are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial.
All right, what does celestial mean?
Out of space
Kind of smart, huh? Yeah, that's like in the heavens, outer space, like, you know what I'm saying? The moon, the sun, that's celestial bodies. And then terrestrial, what's the terrestrial? Root word, terrain. What's terrestrial?
here, in the ground, underground.
Yeah, like within the earth.
Yeah.
Outside the earth is celestial, within the earth is terrestrial, like the ground. Go ahead.
Okay. But the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another.
Go ahead.
Okay. There's only one glory of the sun, and another glory of the moon, and another glory of the stars. But one star differs from another star in glory.
None of this stuff is the same. Go ahead to verse 42.
Okay. So also is the resurrection of the dead.
You get it? So also is the resurrection of the dead. Go ahead.
Oh God. It is sown in corruption, it is raised in incorruption.
So you being risen from the dead, sown in corruption, and raised in incorruption. So go ahead.
Oh God. It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in glory.
So now we would call this like the first death. This is whoever you is in the world, right? That person dying and you becoming the person that the Lord wants you to become, right? So you go in Revelations, it said, if you take part in this first death, meaning you kill that old man or that old woman you was and become who the Lord wants you to be, right? It's a symbolism that we use in the school is when, let's say, a brother change, he get a Hebrew name or something. That don't mean it's complete, but that just means you're on the process of doing it, and to symbolize what's happening within, or what's supposed to be happening within you, we'll change it. You'll change your name, sister, get a Hebrew name, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But that's what's supposed to happen, whether your name change or not. You're supposed to be sown in corruption, raised in incorruption, sown in dishonor, raised in glory, sown in weakness, raised in power. Go ahead in verse 44.
Oh God. It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body.
So there's the difference between natural and spiritual. But everything that happens in the spirit realm manifests itself in this realm. What you mean? You're wicked, right? You ain't on point spiritually. Then physically, you may do things that would be considered evil. For instance, if you a brother and I don't know, you're dealing with some type of demon spiritually, then you may have a porn addiction, or you might get high, or you might sleep with other men's wives, or you might, you know what I'm saying, a sexual deviant, something of that nation that you do physically, but it's based on you not having control of your spirit. You understand? Everything in the fourth dimension presents itself in the third dimension. what God is doing, fighting evil or fighting against those who will not do what he says to do. Spiritually, you'll see it here on this realm in some form or another. So this is just talking about the difference between like your body that you have now and your spirit, which is what will inhabit the kingdom of God. All right, if I could say it that way without posing 100 other questions. Go ahead.
Oh, God. There's a natural body and there's a spiritual body.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 45. And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit.
So the first Adam, which was Adam that's in Genesis, was made a living soul. How was he made a living soul? By giving the breath of life, which is the ability to follow and keep laws, statutes, and commandments, and be blessed by the Most High for doing so, right? The last man, Adam, was made a quickening spirit, meaning the dead was being raised by the hand of Christ. This is YAHANNA, was raised a quickening spirit, meaning if something was dead, then he would wake it up or be able to give it alive. And that's by reintroducing us to the law, statutes, and commandments that we were not following prior to him coming. We already had it. We had what it took to live and be great and rule and all of that, but we wasn't doing it because we was following after the other nations, no different than what we're doing right now. All right, keep reading.
Oh, God. Verse 46. Howbeit, that was not first, which is spiritual, but that which is natural, and afterward, that which is spiritual.
So now you go in Genesis chapter 2, you talk about, you find that Adam, he calling him Adam, this is what it is, and then he said he breathed the breath of life into him and he became a living soul. So you already had that physical body here, but you ain't have what it take to do the work of the Lord until he breathed in him the breath of life. All right, keep going.
Oh, God. Verse 47. The first man is of the earth.
Earthy. Right? Go ahead.
Oh, God. The second man is the Lord from heaven.
Right. This is of God. Everything that you talking about when you asking questions about the kingdom, we can only speculate based on what the prophets are saying, based on what the scriptures are saying. For anybody to try to go in there and dissect it too much and to say more than what's in this book, you gotta be careful. All right. So that's why I came to the scripture as opposed to just rambling on about what. Well, let me tell you how it's gonna be when we get it. I don't even know if I'm gonna make it to the damn kingdom. How am I gonna tell you what's gonna be in there? You know what I'm saying? We the only people that's in here trying to learn about this stuff, and ain't no guarantee we gonna make it. Some fool out there selling drugs right now may come in and change his life, and the Lord may have mercy on him, more mercy than he might have on me. Who knows? But here's what the Bible says about it. Read.
As is earthy, such are they also.
Hold on. The first man was of the earthy. The second man is the Lord from heaven. And that word Lord is not all capital, so it's not talking about God. It means our king or ruler or somebody who's over you. Like that word would be Adonai in the Hebrew, but it's written in Greek, so it says Lord there. I don't know what the Greek word for Lord is, but go ahead.
Oh, God. Verse 48. As is the earthy, such are they also that are earthy.
Mm-hmm.
And as is the heavenly, such are they also that are heavenly.
Yeah, well, the scriptures say a carnal mind is enmity with God. It is not subject to the laws of God, right? So, meaning if I'm thinking about getting high, having sex, or whatever the hell I think about all day, I ain't studying, following, and keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. These are two different realms. It's like comparing apples to oranges. Comparing the body we got now to a glorified body that the Lord gave that's not going to age the same way. It's not going to look the same way. It's not going to have the same limitations ours have right now. I don't know if y'all know, I don't know, the old people in church, they used to have this song called "This Building Keep On Leaning. Got to find me a better home." That's what they talking about, right? Getting up out of, they aching and pain and all of that other stuff. This was never meant to happen. This is because we have sinned against God. They was told, it's like Methuselah was like 600 years old or something like that. I think Adam lived like 200 years. Like these people was living lifelong lives. It's because of our situation that we might make it to. I think the average for a black man is like 70, and for a black woman it's like 77, 78. Watch what she putting on your plate. They outliving us. But anyway, keep going.
So, verse 49. And as we have borne the image of the earthly, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly.
There it is right there. So just like we look like every other man that the Lord made, when if we are able to get to this point, we will look just like, you know what I'm saying? Like the best way to describe it is we will resemble the angels. All right. Go ahead.
Oh God. Verse 50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God.
Oh, there it is right there. Right. The kingdom is on earth, but you're not trying to get your physical body there, because there are some people that are not going to make it into the kingdom. There's going to be some people that usher in the kingdom, meaning they help the kingdom get here. They asked Christ, when is the kingdom going to come? He said, the kingdom cometh not with observation. So now if you got a dude that's sitting there and saying, I'm just waiting on Jesus, he don't understand. You got work to do. We got work to do to get this kingdom together. This is the reason why we're going to camp. We're teaching classes and all of this, because in the scriptures, if you go to Isaiah chapter 11, it says that the root of Jesse, or the stem of Jesse, meaning Jesse was David's father, is going to do the gathering and gather us out of all the countries that we've been scattered to. So now in our little vacuum over here in America, that would be Haiti, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Uruguay, Guatemala, all of these different places we scattered in Americas, and going to bring us together on one accord to serve God again the way we were supposed to, right? So now it's saying flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God. Go ahead.
Oh God. Neither doth corruption inherit incorruption.
Neither does corruption inherit incorruption. What Christ said is, why are you going to put new wine in old bottles? Right? You don't have the same spirit you had where you was like, I do anything to feed my family. I don't got that same spirit no more. I won't do anything to feed my family. I'm only going to do what the Lord said I can and should do. That's the new spirit, and it can't dwell in this same body that loves smoking weed all day. That's the example, right? Go ahead.
Oh God. Verse 51. Behold, I shew you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed.
All of us ain't gonna die before Yahweh shall come back, right? We ain't all gonna sleep. That's how they talked about death in an Israelite perspective. David was like, when I go sleep with my fathers, he was talking about dying. He wasn't talking about going to sleep with his fathers, right? So we shall not all sleep, but we all gonna be changed. That's why when it's talking about the trump sounding and things like that, the dead in Christ rising first, and all of this other stuff, right? The people that still here are being the ones doing the work. They're going to be changed too, but the dead in Christ are the ones who are going to rise first. All right, go ahead.
Oh God. Verse 52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible.
Raised what?
Incorruptible.
Incorruptible. The dead are going to be raised incorruptible. Go ahead.
Oh God. And we shall be changed.
And we shall be what?
Changed.
Changed. And that's what I was talking about. If I could find a scripture, let me see real quick. I probably could get off of this way if I could find that scripture. Go ahead and read.
Oh God. Verse 53. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immorality. So when the corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immorality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory.
There it is right there. The whole point was for us not to die in a way that we die now. Not that you won't get old and the Lord won't take his spirit back, give you a new body, but it's like you ain't going to be taken in the way that we being taken up out of here. You know what I'm saying? High blood pressure, murder, AIDS, so on and so forth. Those things come by way of sin and not by the Most High. We was never supposed to die in those manners, right? So the Lord swallowing up left is like now we get to enjoy life and have it more abundantly the way the Lord intended, as opposed to us living the way we live, being on the bottom. All right. Give me 1 John 3:2, and I think this will answer it a little bit.
I got one. So like you said,
It's on the same.
Yes, it's on this.
Go
It's
ahead.
not on something different.
Go ahead.
So, like, because as I'm reading, saying like the dead shall rise, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dead gonna rise first. But from my understanding, it's like, okay, if the dead is in the ground and their body is, going, like, how are they rising? Is it just the soul, or is this?
Okay, so look, in the scriptures it talks about, I believe it's when Christ, the night when Christ people got up out the grave and the Lord returned their spirit back to their body. I'm not necessarily the expert on that. That's a question that maybe I can ask a little bit later and get an answer from you. But from what I understand is it's talking about the dead rising to be with Christ in the chariots. So like him sending these spirits back into the earth. Now, whether it's with their body that they had before or with this new, it's got to be their spiritual body that's coming. And let me explain this body, and I'll read this first, and then it might kind of explain it to you. Give me 3 and 1.
1 John chapter 3, verse 1. Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God.
So now, y'all see this in the New Testament. Not only Christ was called the Son of God, but all the children of Israel was called the sons of God. It's Exodus 4:22. Israel is my son, even my firstborn. So you got to understand when it says all that do the will of God are the sons of God, or have the spirit of God as the sons of God, right? So this is what it's talking about. Go ahead.
Therefore, the world knoweth us not.
And the world don't know us, right? Why?
Because it knew him not.
They ain't understand Christ. So how they gonna understand us? Right? Keep going.
Beloved, now are we the sons of God, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we all be like him, for we shall see him as he is.
So it's hard for us to understand following Christ and becoming what Christ is. Like now, he's sitting on the right hand of the Father as a spirit. Is he coming back with his physical body that he had? Is he coming back like an angel? Is he coming back with a new body, a glorified? All of these are questions that we could toss around and ask. Only thing we have is what's in the scriptures. Everything else would be making it up. So we don't know what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. So some of these things are kind of mysteries. People will have their own little religions that they start based on this stuff. I don't really do that. If I know where it's at in the scriptures, I can show it to you. If not, I just be like, I don't know. Right? This is how we stay out of body bags. This is why we don't get cut, because it don't say it in the scriptures. We ain't about to make up something just to, appease our mind. It's not given to us to know everything. Even Christ didn't know when he was coming back, and he knew all things, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't know certain things that the Lord even kept from him, and that's our king. So, what we do need to know is how to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, how to turn our life around, and so on and so forth. How our body gonna be, and the glorified body, and when people start getting up out the grave, I don't know. I just know it say that, and I'm crazy enough to believe what's in the scriptures. That's my answer to the question. Did I answer your questions?
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, there's only so much you can do outside.
Yeah, without making up stuff. Christian church been making up stuff for all this time. That's why we all, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know. You ain't never ask no pastor nothing. He gonna say, I don't know. He know. He gonna do a whole sermon on it. I don't know what he talking about. You got any questions? You got any questions over here? All right. I think I got a little bit of time. I'm gonna go into a topic. Let me see. Should I stay on the pastors? I'm already there. Not tonight.
I said, why not?
You say, why not? Oh, that's all you ever teach on anyway. Okay. Let me see here. Give me First Maccabees. Nah, I was gonna go into what's the big deal like with slavery? You know what I'm saying? That might be a good one. Why not? Oh, give me no. That ain't good. That ain't good at all. By right away, I'll just let y'all know, December 3rd, we were supposed to have the Florida cookout. The Florida cookout was canceled because they had moved the Passover to Florida. The general wants to focus everything on Florida. I mean, on the Passover, all our energy and effort. We had already went ahead and booked some things for the cookout, like the park and everything. So we just kept everything. Everybody in Florida will be getting together. It's December 3rd. It's a Saturday down in Riviera Beach. We got a spot on the beach where we was gonna have a cookout at, and we're gonna get together with us. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go to the school, do some things down there. So if y'all could, you know what I'm saying, if you could make it, definitely want to see y'all down there. Just take that right there. Let's see here. Oh, I know where it's at. Just had it earlier. Whoa. Stay on. You gotta go to the pastor's breakdown. What happened?
So I don't know if it's in this notebook. I know I do have one.
I tried to pull mine up. It came with a blank thing. So I'll go here. Let's see. Here we go. Give me Jeremiah chapter 23. Verse 1.
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Most High.
Now, earlier, if you was in this class, I told y'all what woe mean. What does woe mean? Not you. You remember? Destruction. Now, wait a minute. This is the prophet speaking the words of God, saying, destruction be unto the pastors. Now, have y'all ever heard of any other office outside of the church where they would use that word pastor? All right, that's enough time. So we just gonna say he talk about the Christian pastor, right? He just gonna say he talk about the church. I gave y'all some time to think. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, I read it again.
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors.
Woe be unto the pastors, right? That do what?
That destroy and scatter the sheep.
Who are the sheep of the Most High? The children of Israel, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, who Christ said he came back. Go ahead.
of my pasture, saith the Most High.
Keep going.
Come. Therefore, thus saith the Most High Power of Israel against the pastors that feed my people.
Now, you talking about food? Remember, used to call this class the milk class, right? Therefore, I fed you with milk and not of strong meat. He's talking about it. It says, take and eat this roll. It's talking about the laws, statutes, and commandments. It's talking about the spiritual food. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word from the mouth of the Lord. All these is in your Bible. You can Google them if you don't know where they at, or you can just ask me. Therefore, said the Lord God, against the pastors that feed my people. Go ahead.
Come. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them.
Okay.
Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Most High.
Now, this is how you can tell that the guy either got to be black or Hispanic, right? The way he's speaking, right? It's like, now, you ain't come see my people, right? But I'm going to come see you. If somebody say, I'm going to come see you, and you got smoke with them, right? You got some kind of, y'all have an argument, and they say, I'm going to come see you. Is that a nice thing? Are they bringing gifts? Right. You ain't trying to hear that. Wait a minute. We in the middle of, we got an altercation. And the dude say, all right, keep talking. I'm going to come see you. You know what I'm saying? This is what the Lord is speaking slang right here. Behold, you have scattered my flock and driven them away and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings. So I'm going to give you the evil of your doings. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 3. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. Verse 4. And I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them.
So this is what the pastors is supposed to be, the shepherds of the sheep. And the shepherd leads the sheep where they're supposed to go. Make sure they stay out of harm's way. That shepherd, if there's a wolf or something, try to come and get one of them sheep, he's going to fight the wolf to make sure that this is what the church is supposed to be doing for our people, right? The men of God are supposed to do that. Protect. Remember, we was talking about the fatherless, the widows, the people who ain't got no money, all of this stuff. They supposed to make sure that they taken care of. Even if they don't do it physically themselves, they could be taking all that tithe money they getting and helping out these people, right? They ain't doing that. And the Lord is upset about it. That's what this scripture is about. Now, he got a way out, though. He got a way that we can make things better. He's going to gather a remnant of his flock out of the countries where I've driven them, that's going on right now, and bring them into the folds, and they will be fruitful and increase. Instead of being on the bottom of every nation like we have all our captivities, then we could be fruitful now and have enough to bring, what it say, 7 bullocks? Say you're supposed to bring 7 bullocks to the feast of what are the feasts in there? I like 7 bullocks, man. You know how much one lamb costs? Right? We eating chicken at the feast. We ain't got no money like that, man. Listen. So, but the Lord is going to bring it where we will be fruitful and increase. And when he does, just make sure you pay them tithes. You know what I'm saying? That's 10% of your increase. And he said, I will set up shepherds over them. And these shepherds ain't going to be like the pastors that he's talking about, right? I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith the Most High. Right? Read verse 5.
Verse 5. Behold, the days come, saith the Most High, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch.
There it is right there. Go ahead.
And a king shall reign and prosper.
So now this king has to come from the lineage of David. It's a whole nother topic. Christ came from the lineage of David, right? And a king shall reign and prosper. Go ahead.
And shall execute judgment and justice in the earth.
So he shall be a just judge, a righteous judge within the earth. So no longer will we have to deal with things happening to our people and us not getting justice. The Lord is going to raise up a king, and everybody up under that king will deal righteously with the people. So it won't be like the Pharisees was doing, ruling over the people, and the judgment they was doing was according to the law for all of the people that was wrong, And for them and they people, right, they got away with murder. Sometimes literally. Lord said he was going to fix that, and this before it even happened. Go ahead to verse 6.
Okay. Verse 6. In his days, Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name, whereby he shall be called, the Most High our righteousness.
So, and this is the name that he shall be called, the Lord our righteousness. It says, in his days, Judah, which is talking about the southern kingdom, right? Judah, Benjamin, Levi. And Judah shall be saved. And Israel, which was the house of Israel, that's the other 10. I can't name them all. It includes Issachar, Ephraim, Manasseh, Simeon, all of them. It's talking about the entire thing. Remember, Christ was supposed to raise up the tribes and bring them back into one household again where they wouldn't be two different houses. That's Ezekiel 37. All right. So this is what it's talking about. The Lord giving us what's wrong with the people we got now. Well, the problem is we supposed to know the Bible by now. You know what I'm saying? I know people that have been going and sitting in these churches my entire life, and they still don't know the Bible. He'll read about 1 or 2 things out the Bible, and the next 2 hours, he just going to make y'all feel good so that you'll put something in that collection plate, right? But he give me Hosea 4 and 6. This is what the Lord said. This is what they're supposed to be teaching you. Now, I ain't got no collection plate going around in here, but I'm going to actually teach you the Bible. They got a collection plate, but they ain't actually teaching you the Bible. Ain't that so crazy? That's crazy. All right. Use one of them suits. I want a helicopter. Rolls Royce. It would be nice. Go ahead. Yeah, G5 jet. Nah, go ahead. This is the problem, though.
Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Now, remember, Paul says in the New Testament, he said, the children of Israel have a zeal for God, but not according to knowledge. Now, you know what I'm saying? Our people are the best at whatever they're doing. It don't matter what they're doing, they're the best at it. You know what I'm saying? If they homos, they ain't just like, you know, secret closet like white man be homo and he have a whole family. Not us, right? He gonna be a man in a dress, extra loud, all of that. If you a Christian, they the biggest Christian and the greatest Christian there is. Don't even look at me. You ain't saved. That's what my grandma's sister used. Don't even look at me. You ain't till you get saved. Don't come in here. Don't come in my house. This is the Christians. That's how they is, right? You know what I'm saying? Our people from the northern tribes, when they Catholic, they doing all of the Catholic stuff, whatever they do. The Rosary beads, the Hail Mary, the whole thing. Haiti, they doing the same exact thing. We are the best at whatever it is, right? Because we have a zeal that nobody else has, but it's not according to knowledge. We don't know how to serve God properly. We know how to sing. Nobody's singing better, dancing, mime dancing, everything. We do the whole thing. The service is going to be entertaining, but what are you learning? Are you learning how to serve God when you leave up out of that church, when you leave up out of that mosque or that temple or wherever you're going, right? This is what the problem is. Read it again.
Okay. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
That's what's destroying. That's why it's cracking the ghetto. That's why the ghettos and the barrios are messed up, right? Because we don't have the knowledge. Now, this is your wisdom and understanding to the nations, is the laws, statutes, and commandments that's in this book. Ain't nobody teaching it. The only law they taught you was tithing. That's the only law they teach you. Pay them tithes, and we're going to make you feel good for about 2 hours, and then you get to go back to your home and not know anything about God, not know how to serve him, not know how to deal with each other, not know how to treat each other, not know how to treat your wives, not know how to treat your husbands, because they ain't got no answers for that. This is why we destroy lack of knowledge. And guess what the Lord said? Keep reading.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
Now we don't know how to serve God. Now we rejecting what he told us to do, and he's going to reject us. Go ahead.
That thou shalt be no priest to me.
So the Lord always, way before Christ, remember when we went to Matthew 23, he just chopping them up. And this is what we would call like the modern day Christian church. But before that, even when it was Levitical, you had the priest, all of this, you still had the Lord saying, I'm going to remove you from your seat because you ain't doing it right. And I'm going to get somebody in here that know what they doing. The Lord ain't one of them people. You go, what it is, you come to work late every day and don't do nothing, and they give you a slap on the wrist. The Lord is trying to get rid of you and find somebody to replace you. Even if it's for a period of time, just to make you. Why do you think your oppressor is ruling over the earth right now? Because you're supposed to be doing it. But you rather serve other gods and give all the credit to them and follow after them. Why? Because they let you do whatever you want to do. And the God of Israel will not. Keep going.
Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children.
Oh, man. That's cold right there. Give me Isaiah chapter 9 and 16. Seeing that you have forgot to do what I told you to do, I'm going to forget to bless the people that do what you tell them to do. Most High don't play no games, man. He's hardcore. Scriptures say that God is a man of war. Yes, he's loving. Yes, he's powerful. He's great and merciful and all of that stuff. It's great and merciful and blessing and all of that stuff. But he will also put you in your place when you out of line. All right? This is our problem. Go ahead and read. Tell them where you at.
Isaiah chapter 9, verse 16. For the leaders of this people cause them to err.
You see that? Read it again.
Isaiah chapter 9, verse 16. For the leaders of this people cause them to err.
See, you can't go to somebody's house, right? And see their kids being all terrible and running around and doing all this and blame it on the kids. It's the leaders who have, if you're in an organization, a church, a fake Israelite group, and something ain't right, it ain't because of the people that's there. They got a zeal for the Lord, but they ain't getting the knowledge that shows them how to act. Nobody is telling those kids how to act. Nobody is showing these people how to serve God. That's why they don't know. Our leaders of this people cause them to err. Go ahead.
And they that are led of them are destroyed.
And they that are led of them are destroyed. Why we can't fix our neighborhoods? Why we can't fix our... No, let's start before we get to the neighborhood. Why we can't fix our household? Why? Because we don't have the right leadership telling us how to do it, right? The burning Captain Shawood phone up. Hey, man, listen. This was what's going on in my house. Tell me what to do to fix it. Tell me what I need to be doing to get this right. Because if I do what I feel like doing, somebody's going to jail. And the household ain't going to stand if two people that's in it. What Christ say? How can a house stand if two people? Oh, man, I got to get that scripture. A house divided will not stand. That's it right there. Can you please help me get this thing on one accord so we can keep the house, so we don't burn the house down? You know what I'm saying? Because it's about to go down, right? Listen to me. The leaders don't have no answers, nor they going to tell you pray about it. In the church, they're going to tell you just pray about it. No, listen, something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. Got to be able to have some righteous counsel and some righteous leadership. All right. Let's go ahead and read the next one. This might be a little bit off. Go ahead and read the next one.
Verse 17. Therefore, the Lord shall have no joy in their young men, neither shall have mercy on their fatherless and widows. For everyone is a hypocrite.
For what?
For everyone is a hypocrite and an evildoer, and every mouth speaketh folly. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still.
Ain't that beautiful right there? That's crazy. out of everything we did, and all the times the Lord came and got us out of captivity, we went right back to serving other gods, went right back to transgressing his laws, went right back to doing what the hell we wanted to do. It's saying right now, like he is putting us through this hell right now, but his hand is still stretched out. He had us watch the best son he had die and say, he's doing this for you. Now you're going to go back and commit the same crime you committed when you the one that deserved the death, not him. A representation of him, you're supposed to change your life and not be an evildoer. What did it say? Every mouth speaking fallacy, a folly, a hypocrite, all of this stuff. And the Lord, the reason why our neighborhoods is like they is, and our households and our women and our children is the way they is because the Lord's anger is kindled against us. But his hand is still stretched out. Right? Go to, let me get Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 7.
Jeremiah chapter 2.
You know it's so crazy. Like a prophet Jeremiah, he was the one. Like if you go through all of Jeremiah, he was the one that was pointing out how wicked the leaders were. I guess that's why the Lord said that was his thing. Man, I'm gonna deal with these leaders. Go ahead,
Okay. And I brought you into a Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 7. And I brought you into a plentiful country to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. Mm-hmm. But when ye entered, you defiled my land.
That's crazy, right? I brought you into this nice place. I put you in this nice big old house. Everything you want. It's got an arcade in it. All the food you want in the refrigerator. I turn my back and come home. Everything all over the floor. You're taking dumps in the front room. You know what I'm saying? That's what we did to the Lord's land. He brought us into it, and he said, you have defiled it. That's crazy. Go ahead.
Oh, God. And made my heritage an abomination. The priest said not, where is the Most High? Mm-hmm. And they that handle the law knew me not.
Wait a minute, hold on. Can somebody explain that? The priest said not. Where's the Lord? And what? What's the last part?
And they that handle the law knew me not. The pastors also.
Hold on. Let's break that down. Read it again.
Verse 8. The priest said not, where is the Most High?
The priest said not, where is the Most High? What does that mean? Somebody, go ahead.
It's like they weren't seeking the Most High.
They wasn't even studying the Lord. They getting the 10%. They eating. Everybody's bringing everything to them. They eating the bullocks. They eating the lambs. All the whatever. You bringing a turtle dove. You know what I'm saying? This belongs the 10%. So the Lord is feeding them, but they have a job in order to do that, right? They have a responsibility that comes along with getting all the inheritance of, or the people bringing the stuff to them. They got a job to do. It's to keep the people in line so that the Lord bless them. And if they don't do that, they're not doing their job. The priest is eating so good, they weren't worried about the Lord. That's what it said. Read it again.
Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 8. The priest said not, where is the Most High?
Right.
And they that handle the law knew me not.
And the people that handled the law knew me not. Remember, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And scriptures, I think it's Deuteronomy 4, it says that this is your wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations, the law, statutes, and commandments. The people that had the law, let's say, knew me not. They didn't even know the Lord. They weren't thinking about the Lord and all of that. And that's how we get to where we at. And we in the New Testament, it's the same thing going on. Everything in this Bible has happened and it's happening over and over again. And the Lord's still waiting on us to get our act together. He's still waiting on us to get right. Or we're going to keep going through the same thing. You're going to come back and be a baby and a full-grown man, a full-grown woman again, and you're still going to be in the ghettos and barrios. We're like, what's going on? Wait a minute. Are we ever going to get the kingdom? Well, I said it earlier. Christ said the kingdom comes not with observation. Something has to change, right? And we are trying to be the change that the world needs. Give me Isaiah 3:12 real quick. Isaiah chapter 3:12. Matter of fact, before we go there, since we're in Jeremiah, give me 50:6. Jeremiah 50:6. Jeremiah stayed on him. Well, he ain't give him no leeway. Tell them about themselves, just like Christ was in Matthew 23. Matter of fact, Matthew chapter 23 was in this breakdown. We touched it, and I'm gonna make sure that I end this class, so I'll get a call like I did last week, saying I'm going into the captain's time. So, you know what I'm saying? Got it?
Sure,
Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray.
Right.
They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place.
Keep going.
Okay. All that found them have devoured them. And their adversary said, we offend not.
Now let's stop right there, right? My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. Now, did they call themselves to go astray? The leaders caused them to go astray. It's follow the leader. Know what I'm saying? If I take my kids and I say I'm about to go rob this bank and my kids go with me, they don't get to tell me no. Y'all got to go, right? That's what it is. It's the leaders that's caused us to go astray and to be so far off to now when you start telling somebody, hey, you can't just do what you want to do. You got to keep these laws. They're like, you crazy. It said right here because the leaders have taught them that. This is theologian school. This is, Catholic school. This is, Christian academies and all of this stuff. It's been instilled in us to do everything but serve God properly. So now when you come to somebody and you telling them that they got to actually do something, you can't just put it all on Jesus and do whatever the hell you want to do, they're looking at you like you're crazy. You see what I'm saying? Like, now you crazy. You something wrong with you. How you not going to celebrate Jesus' birthday? What's wrong with you? Jesus ain't celebrate his birthday. What are you talking about? It's easy when you look at it from a standpoint of erasing everything that you've been taught and realizing that the leaders that was teaching you did not understand what was really going on. All of this stuff has been in the Bible the whole time. For us to come back, the Lord always gave us a way back. And Christ giving his life is our opportunity to say, now I understand why he had to die. Because this nation was so wicked, but the Lord loved us so much. Everybody understand?
Okay.
Keep reading. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Read that other part again. Let me go and break that down. For all that found them have devoured them. We read this at camp, right? All that found them have devoured them. Now the Lord put us in a place to be up under a certain nation, but it wasn't supposed to be as bad as what the white man did to us. It was never supposed to happen like that, right? They took it when we was down and took advantage of the situation 10 times over and made it 10 times worse than what the Lord wanted. They were just supposed to be able to rule over us, for a period of time, and they took that and ran with it. That's in, I think, Obadiah, might be somewhere else. All that found them have divided them. Now check this out, though. Read that part after that code.
Okay. And their adversaries said, we offend not.
And their adversaries said, we ain't do nothing. We didn't do nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, God. Because they have sinned against the Most High.
Oh, that's why they ain't do it. It ain't the white man's fault. He evil. He's just the Lord's whipping tool to get you together. You don't want to rule. You want these people to rule over you. The Lord says, since you will not serve the God that loves you, now you got to serve a people that hate you. And that's crazy. Since you won't do what your daddy say, when you get grown, you go out and break the law, and then now you get locked up, and you got to go do what your CO say, right? Huh? What? Go ahead, pull it. Go ahead and pull it out. You can find it. But yeah, that's what's going on. The people that found us devoured us, and they said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Most High. The habitation of justice, even the Most High, the hope for their fathers, right? This is when he was talking about, this is concerning Babylon. Here we are right here again. And every week when we on the streets teaching, that's exactly what they saying. We ain't do nothing to y'all. I don't own no slaves. They ain't even saying like, we ain't even supposed to be mad at them for the things that they've done. And to be honest with you, we are, but we also supposed to be mad at ourselves for breaking the Lord's laws. But if we ain't being taught that, you know what I'm saying, then it's always going to be blame on other people as well. So we got to get it together, Israel. You know what I'm saying? You found it?
Okay.
Go ahead with it.
Baruch chapter 4, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
You were sold to the nations,
Mm-hmm.
not for your destruction, but because ye moved God to wrath.
You see that? That's in the Bible. You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction. It wasn't supposed to be good precept. That wasn't supposed to be like we were never gonna come up. Like 500 years later, we still got to be employees, and we like, you know what I'm saying? Our employee identification number is our slave number. It wasn't supposed to be like that. We were supposed to get our life together, and even the Greeks were never supposed to rule. Like coming out of Babylon, we were supposed to rule. Why won't we rule? Because we're too busy following the ways of the other nation. All right, that was a good precept. Right? Let me get Isaiah 3. 11.
Isaiah chapter 3, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. As for my people,
Hold up. Woe. The word woe means destruction to the wicked, right? It's an exclamation point in the English. It's an exclamation point there. The wicked gonna be destroyed. It shall be ill with him. Like it's sick. For the reward of his hand shall be given him. Now listen, in this earth, I think it's Galatians 6 and 7. Is it? Give me Galatians 6 and 7 real quick. Hold your spot right there. I'm gonna go to it. I'm gonna see if I got it. If so, I might be getting a little sharp. If I get this one right, I'm gonna be feeling myself for the rest of the night. Galatians 6 and 7. This better not be right. Flipping these pages, I can't find Galatians. That would be the ran out of time. Galatians chapter 6. Oh man, that boy cold. That boy cold. Go ahead and read it.
Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
There it is right there. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Now back to Isaiah chapter 3, where it's in verse 11, it says, for the reward of his hand shall be given him. Meaning, rewards is like, it could be a good thing if you're doing good, right? If you're not doing good, it's a bad thing. Remember I was telling y'all about my homeboy who used to rob people and all of that, right? Somebody murdered him. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like in the truth, you look at things differently. As for in the world, you would say this is a sad thing, but it's people that's doing evil that evil come back on. Now, sometimes bad things happen to good people. That's different. But when you know you done sold all of this into the earth and it come back to you, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Almost like you threw it out there like a boomerang, it came right back to you. This is what it's talking about. Everything that a man is doing, he will be rewarded for, whether it's on the right-hand side or the left. Whether it's on the good side, you're sowing righteous things into the earth and you get blessed, or whether you're sowing evil things in the earth and you get the curses. All right? Verse 12.
Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12. As for my people.
As for my people, right? Go ahead.
Children are their oppressors.
Children are their oppressors. Don't let your child oppress you. Listen to me. Christmas is coming up. Christmas is coming up. Don't let your child oppress you. Serve God, not your children. All right? Go ahead. I ain't gonna touch that too much.
And women rule over them.
What?
Women rule over them.
He said it like that's a bad thing, right? Is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing? I thought women were supposed to be in positions of authority. Queens. What would be bad about a woman ruling over you? Let me go ahead and answer the question since we ain't got that much time. It's not her job or responsibility. She shouldn't have that much pressure on her to have to lead. Her job is to be cute. She shouldn't have to lead. When we talk about where we going to war at, what we gonna do, who we gotta kill, who we gonna save, how we gonna make this right, do that, how we gonna deal with the people who don't care about nothing. It's not a woman's job to do that. It's not her responsibility. Therefore, certain things like these, we talk about single mothers. They doing the best they can because the nigga ain't there. Salakia. He ain't there. But it's certain things they should not have to deal with because the Lord created a man to rule and to lead. And he created a woman to help him with that. Now, as for my people, children are their oppressors and women rule over them. All it's basically saying is that the people that's supposed to be leading and doing the right thing have been replaced by people who are emotional and childish. That's what it's talking about. All right? Go ahead. Now, when I say childish, let me tell you something. A kid don't care. You let the kids eat first, they ain't gonna make sure that the adults get none. You let the kids make sure the bills taken care of, they're not gonna pay them. They go buy what they want to do with their money. That's what a child does. But there's supposed to be a righteous man to lead, or righteous men in authority to make sure that these things don't happen. You know what I'm saying? Make sure the rent money don't get spent on Bath and Body Works. Salakia. Keep going.
Oh, my people.
Oh, my people, go ahead.
They which lead thee cause thee to error, and destroying the way of thy paths. There
it is right there. Right? They that lead thee cause you to error. So when you wonder what's wrong with our neighborhoods, it's the leadership. Wonder what's wrong with our households, it's the leadership. Right? What we have to do is put righteous men back in the household, and they have to be able to lead. That way the children know what they're supposed to be doing, the sisters know what they're supposed to be doing, the man know what he's supposed to be doing, and everybody ain't confused doing somebody else's job. And what they say, carrying a burden that they were never built to carry. Right? Everybody understand? So now this is where we supposed to be different. Right now, in the truth, when you're in the truth, you have righteous leadership, a person that is not thinking about their own pockets, about their own stomach, but thinking about the Lord's people. And we pride ourselves on that here in the I.S.U.P.K, and that's why we teach you the truth about the Bible, even if you don't like it. There are going to be people that's going to come and hear it and say, listen, I want a feel-good message. I need you to tell me how God going to bless me, not that I'm wrong and I need to change my life. Those people, you know what I'm saying? Lord be with them. All right, with that, I'm gonna stop the class. Anybody got any questions? No questions on the chat? All right, you can go ahead and end it.